Dan Turner, our guest right now on the wall. Dan Turner is with Power the Future. What is that, Dan?
Thanks for having me on. Power the Future is an organization that fights for energy workers in rural America. And we do that by pushing back on some of the radical green agenda that jeopardizes their jobs.
There's this billionaire lefty traveling through Texas, oil country, energy country, and he's doing his best to take down the president. He wants impeachment and all that. What can you tell me about this guy that's visiting the Lone Star State?
Are you talking about Tom Steyer?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. You know, and the reason why I talk about him is because he funds a lot of the activism that leads to job loss in rural America, right? He funds these projects in towns that he's probably never even visited, he's probably never seen, but he loves to support energy policies that really hurt rural America. And right now he's on this 40-city speaking tour to impeach the president, and he's in Texas for the next couple of days. Wow. The funny thing is that his events are not open to the press. They're not open to the public. They're sort of invitation only. So I guess you can think you're popular if you handpick your audience.
What do you know? How is he hoping to achieve his goal of impeaching the president? Who is he meeting to gather more money, to, one for one? What is he doing? He's talking to ignorant millennials. What's he doing out there?
Yeah, actually, personally, I don't even think his goal is to achieve the president. I think he wants to be president. I think this is all part of a strategy of his 2020 presidential campaign. With the exception of Texas, most of the states he visited have been real swing states and in the order of the presidential primary. He started in Iowa. He went to New Hampshire. He was in South Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, etc. So Texas is kind of an exception. But I think he's trying to build himself a base. I think he's trying to gin up his millennial activists, and he wants to be a presidential candidate. The reason why we're involved is because he cut his teeth on the energy issue, and his policies have hurt millions and millions of people. So I want to warn Texas. I want to warn everyone. Whatever he's trying to sell, don't buy it, because his foray into politics was energy, and on energy he's a disaster.
Well, he would have to sell quite a few lies and blind a lot of people down here too. And I would say nationwide as well, because if he's on a socialist bent and he's on a green energy bent, I don't think that's going to play not only in Texas but in many parts of the nation. So what lie is he dispensing out there to convince people to come over to his side? Do you know him?
I think the reason why I call him a fraud is because he made all of his money in energy investments, but he made them in energy investments overseas. And that's where I think he's a fraud and he needs to be held accountable. Tom Steyer loves to invest in coal mines in China where there is no OSHA, there is no EPA. He's perfectly fine with 10-year-old children working hours in a coal mine in China. But when it comes to coal or oil or gas in America, he opposes it vehemently. And he does so under this banner of, I just want to protect the earth.
Has anyone ever called him out on that? Anybody?
Oh, I would love to at those meetings if I could ever get in, but he has blocked us on social media, and he would never allow me to be in one of his meetings.
How is he dispensing his message? Is he purchasing ads on cable? On
a lot of TV ads, yeah. I'm sure some of your listeners have even seen him. His commercials have run on almost every network, and he has spent, I think, close to $40 million on his impeach President Trump ad campaign, which is mostly TV buys.
I know who you're talking about now. That skinny old white dude that's saying we need to. Yeah, I know. I saw it on the Coward News Network on CNN some days back. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm a little slow, Dan. I was finally able to connect the dots. So that's the dude that's traveling Texas, trying to. I guess, well, as you said, he's looking like he wants to run for president, maybe develop a base. I don't think he's going anywhere. Do you?
I don't think his message works in Texas. A report came out last week that was in Bloomberg. Texas is the #1 state in the nation to do business in. It created 350,000 jobs so far this year. Just in this year, 350,000 jobs, and the plurality of those jobs have been in the energy sector. So what is he going to try to tell the people of Texas? To look more like Venezuela, to look more like North Korea? What message is possibly selling? So, but you know, he wants to be president, and this is how he's trying
Well,
to
good luck to you. Well,
make his name.
Anybody can do that. It's a free country. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your time. With Power of the Future is Dan Turner joining us on the wall.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet.